Hello everyone, this is Vincent Herring. Today I want to share with you some diminished concepts that I use to improve your vocabulary. Diminished language is based off the diminished scale. Now the diminished scale consists of 4 triads, and in the scale is those 4 triads, and part of the concepts that we're going to use are manipulating those triads and rearranging them to give you different colors in your sound. Everything we discussed today can be found in my new resource, Diminished Mastery. In it, I discuss various ways we can break down a diminished scale and use it to enhance your solos, as well as providing context by playing them in various etudes and phrases over standard chord progressions. If you'd like to check out the full resource, you can find a link in the description below and use code DIMINISH5 for $5 off. The first thing I want to dive into is how to play a diminished scale. So we'll take a diminished scale. I'm going half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. That's the formula, and it's going to sound like this. Half step, whole step, half step, whole step. And then you have what's called a altered scale, which is going to be a different formula. And the way I think of an altered is, first I learned my Lydian dominance. This is when I was a kid studying with David Peterson, and we learned Lydian dominant. Lydian dominant is just what it says. If you take it in the key of C, it's going to be C, D, F sharp. There's your Lydian, G, A, B flat, there's your dominant, Lydian dominant. The tritone of the Lydian dominant is an altered scale. So starting on the F sharp, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F sharp. That's going to be your altered scale. So this is a quick and easy way to understand what it is, and then you have to just physically practice it to have it in all the keys. But you learn that Lydian dominant, it leads right to the altered scale, no problem. Part of vocabulary building with a diminished scale is to break it down into triads. There are 4 triads in a diminished scale. So when you take those 4 triads and you start manipulating them and pairing them together, you can get some really interesting phrases and some cool sounds. One of the first sounds that we do is a tritone scale. And if you wonder what a tritone scale is, I don't know how I came up with this term. You take C and you take F sharp. That's 2 triads, fuse them together, and you turn it into a scale. There's your tritone scale. I don't know if it's a real name, but that's the name that I use, tritone scale. So a C tritone scale is going to be the same notes as an F sharp tritone scale. And then the way you can manipulate these is endless. So I'm going to play, this is a phrase I used to hear Joe Henderson play a lot. I used to do that phrase a lot, which is a triad and a flatted 9. Right? So it's just an interesting sound you can get out of there. Nice, and you're right in with those triads again. So it gives you a lot of flavor, a lot of character without stepping outside of the chords, though it does sound inside out. And you can also mix and match, so it doesn't just have to be one in tritone, as I mentioned. Let's try. That's a nice color. There you have. Nice color. You can try, you have all of these different colors that you can get to, and you can mix and match those as much as you like. And the best way to do it is to strike the chord at the piano and play the combination against it just to hear it and hear how it's connected. And it might give you some other ideas also. In my latest resource, Diminished Mastery, there's an entire chapter dedicated to this concept. Now I'm going to play one of the etudes from the resource. This one is over Caravan. The first opening in the etude is inspired by triads with flatted nines. That's how I play it there in etude. And you can take that phrase, and anytime you're learning anything, take it, understand the concept, and then make it personal. So you may want to arrange it differently, but learn it the way it is in place and then progress from there. Here's an interesting pattern. The second one I have. All based off the triads, and those triads can be ground into the diminished scale. One of the reasons why we used Caravan to describe what we're doing with this, because it's nice and isolated. But you can take these same concepts and where you're building vocabulary and use them on conventional songs. I'll demonstrate here. So when we have Caravan, that's a straight diminished. Those are triads been manipulated. Now I'm going to play. Same thing with those triads there. I'm doing the same diminished thing. Right? And within that song. Right? So we use those in everywhere. So you learn it here with this Caravan, and you start building vocabulary. And then once you digest that vocabulary enough, then you can start using it, manipulating other chords and color it as you hear it. Now, the thing about the diminish, using these triads in the diminish, is you can manipulate them so many ways and give all kind of colors. Like, listen to this one here, which can be found in the etude. There's several more etudes within this resource, and there's also isolated phrases over 2-5-1s. Let's go over one of them over a major 2-5. So in this first major line, it's nothing fancy, it's just pretty much straight. It's just straight diminished. And it's very typical of a way of coloring those chords. All right. So this just gives you a bunch of different ways you can color chords. And there's nothing fancy about it. It's just how to do it and how to do it where it sounds strong. The great thing about the diminished scales is this tension and release constantly. So when you play it, it has the feeling of something, or the sonic sound of something moving, and then it resolves. Or if you choose to resolve it, you know, it sounds strong like that. Well, like when I played this phrase on the 2 and on the 5, and it resolved it. And that's a very strong resolution. You can hear it really clear. So when you're playing, practice getting your diminish played and placed in a good place and resolving it really strongly. And it'll help open up your ears and your vocabulary. Now I'm going to show you one of the minor 2/5s from the resource. So again, with the minor, the same thing. First chord, which is just coloring that chord, and then I'm free here on the next one. And then resolving. Right? So it's a manipulation of that 5 chord with the diminish that gives it such a strong harmonic sound, which tension and then relief on the resolution. So again, you can export these ideas and concepts into other things that you're doing, but learn these the way they are. A great way to practice this is to take a song with a lot of 2/5s and practice your diminished vocabulary, placing it and resolving it where you can. Here's another etude, and this one's based on Woody and You. As you've just heard, this is a great song to use to practice all of these diminished concepts. All right, everyone, that concludes today's video. I hope this helps, and if you'd like to check out the full resource, you can find a link in the description below and use code DIMINISH5 for $5 off. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.